All right, and welcome to this episode. All right, on this episode, let's do. Let me use. I will use guards for this, and I will brace some parts. Um, okay, let's go into it. So let's come to our model, our brace. Sorry, our guards. Let's use our guards. I will select these and select this. So it brings us here. Similarly, just like your pull line, you can turn off the sag rod, right? So I want to assume everyone watching this is familiar with ProtaStructure. So like I said in previous episode, we are just exploring the ProtaStructure 2025 version, just for us to see what is really new in this particular version. Okay. So similarly, I will use the GATS connection here. Um, GATS here rather, not a connection. So similarly, add this, click OK. So let's do some bracing here. Let's see if we can brace this. Brace, click, click, and click OK. All right. I was able to just do some other few bracing just to save us time. Right. So this is our model we have been able to achieve from ProtaStructure 2025. We can as well brace this to this. We can brace it. So we can brace these beams as well here. They are very important too as well. So if you use the brace, I just want to assume we all know how to make use of brace. Whoever is watching this video already has some little knowledge of ProtaStructure 20 ProtaStructure actually. So it doesn't matter the version. I'm assuming you have a little knowledge of ProtaStructure, at least maybe from 2021. If you are using 2018, uh, it's still very outdated at this time. I will advise you to at least minimum 2022 at least. 2022 is very okay for you. 2021 is still way better than for you to be using 2018 in 2024. You can see there are a lot of features that have been added in ProtaStructure. So you are most likely going to struggle I'm sure the interface has changed from 2021. The interface of ProtaStructure changed. So if you are using 2018, you realize that the 2021 interface has changed entirely. So you can see a lot of features have been added in the ProtaStructure. Now we are in 2025, which is the latest version of the ProtaStructure. I'm sure they are probably working on another newer version. I don't know when they are going to release it, but I'm sure they are working on another version. So it's important that you update yourself. As you can see, what you can achieve with the 2025 is way more better, way far more better than what you can achieve with 2022 or 2020, even 2024. But if you are using 2024, you are still at least up to date to an extent. But 2025 is the best you can get for now, which is the latest version. If you can get the 2025, then you are doing yourself a very great thing, because as you can see what I can achieve with my 2025, you can achieve it with 2024. That's just the truth. What I can achieve with 2025, you can achieve it with 2024, most especially if you are into more of steel designs. You can see a lot of features have been added in the 2025. So it's important that you update yourself. Okay, so we have been able to brace these. We have been able to add our polar. We've been able to add our cladding, and on the loading on our cladding, we've been able to do the composite slabs. We've been able to demonstrate the primary, secondary beam, and then the group frames in our ProtaStructure 2025. Okay, so on this floor you can see there are no low wall load on this floor. We can add those wall loads. We don't need to add those wall load along here, although we can add it. So let's just say we have a wall load at the story 7. But their heights are not going to. As for this is just we demonstrating, although this level and this level are not the same, because this is the starting point of this particular story. Like we said, you are not having a flat terrain, so this is the starting point. This is like the ground floor for this. This is the ground floor for this. So this is now the ground floor for this one. So it's a staggered kind of foundation because of the terrain, assuming the terrain is like this. So basically yeah, let me just insert wall load, but it's not going to be on everywhere, right? We are not going to have a wall load here, along here. We are not going to have a wall load along here. So for this, it's going to be really manual to achieve. So but then you can highlight the portion where you want to add your loading for, but simply by selecting. You can select the specific beams you want to add a wall load for. You can select specific beams. So all you need to do is just to manually pick them and go to your loading. So you have to pick those walls manually. So let's just say we are only going to be having, damn, this is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be on story 6. I'm very sorry. I actually selected the wrong beams. So I'm going to select them and then I'll continue from there in the okay. What I can do to make this way easier for me is I can just simply go to the loading editor. I'm in story 6, so automatically it will bring me to story 6 at the loading editor. Like you can see, this is story 6. So I can simply rotate the model and just highlight just that portion where I want to insert my load. So this is another way. And wall load automatically only goes to the beam, not the slab, not the column. Okay, so I can just highlight the portion I want to actually insert this load into. So you can see the loading has been inserted on only the highlighted portion. So I can close this and save. So I'm going to have my wall load along just that portion where I want my wall load to be. Okay, so you can see there is no wall load here, no wall load here, and that's very interesting. This is basically how I want this to be. So we are here. We have been able to achieve our model to an extent. But this wall load, you can create opening, you can add opening to it. But like I said, this, I'm just assuming everyone already has a little knowledge of ProtaStructure. So I'm sure some of the tools I'm using, you are familiar with some of them. So if that is correct, I can then go to analysis so that I can analyze my model. So for us to see if there be any change around here or is still the same with the previous version. If you look at this, we can go to our material. One of the most obvious changes that I realized, although not just with 2025 but with 2024 as well, so it's from the 2024 there, they have separated this grade of concrete. In the previous version it is always 20/25, 25/30, 30/35, like that. So this one, there is a separation, so I can apply on all. So I'm picking grade 25 for my concrete, for example, and then for my steel grade I can also use another steel grade. However, you can see there's also a separation here. So if I'm using the steel grade, I will apply this. For my reinforcement, although there is no much difference, it's the same with the previous one. But for my column, I can decide to pick however the size of reinforcement I want to use. So I'm going to pick 20, I'm going to pick 16, all right, sorry, I'll use 25, 20, 16. Say for my wall, same thing. You have to be very careful with the reinforcement you select. For this, I will uncheck this other reinforcement. Let me use 16 and 20. For my slab, I'm just going to use 12. And then for my footing, I'm going to pick 16 and 20. For my links, Going to be using 10. Okay, so I'll just click on OK, and I'll click on OK, and I will click on OK. Well, you can see there is no much significant difference around that area, right? No much significance different. But I think this one has some little change around this axis. I'm not really going to be talking about the wind load. I'm going to do something more extensive on wind loading as we progress. But for now, I will just skip this part because I want to really talk extensively on wind load separately on its own. So, but let's just assume everything is okay. Building model check is just like the previous one. I'm sure you already know how to use your building model check to check your modeling. You can have some overlapping and all that. So that is one of the essence of building model check, just for you to check your model and see if your model is really in order. It's very important to do your building model check, but this is not a new feature in ProtaStructure. It has been there for long, so there is nothing really new about this. So I'm just going to analyze it, but you can load log editor to see where that error is coming from. This beam and this beam have repeating labels. Yeah, this I think this is very easy to solve. I can simply just come to, let's close this first, come to review, so I can relabel members. Let me relabel. This relabel member is very important. It's very important. As you can see, when you are dealing with a very large model, you can't really have that time to start checking your label, arranging them manually. So you relabel. Your ProtaStructure will do that for you automatically. Prota is really a very powerful software. You can delete unused axes. For a very large model like this, you can have axes that are not used. As you can see, it was able to detect up to 8 different axes that are not in use in the model. So when you come back to here again, you can fix the almost orthogonal axis, porch section and all that. So you can, but we've not done our design to see our design status yet. We've not done design, so we'll have to design and then to check that. Okay, so there is another very important tool that I always like to talk about, which is really stressful to achieve. You can see set all slab types automatically. This is very important. You know, this tells you, if you look at this panel, for example, this is one edge discontinuous while it is continuous at 3 edge. So this is 3 edge discontinuous, 1 edge, 3 edge continuous, 1 edge discontinuous, 3 edge continuous. Basically, however you want to define it, but this is it. So it's continuous here, continuous here, continuous here. So this is a lot of work. If you want to do this manually, selecting it from the software is a lot of stress. So you can see, if you look at this is based on the software, it's saying this is type 1. You can see this is telling us this is type 1, and this is definitely not type 1. This is not type 1. This is more like this one or this one, right? because you have three edges that are continuous, you have one edge discontinuous. So this is very important to do. So you can do an automatic set slab. So it's going to set all the slab type automatically exactly how it should be. So I will click on apply to selected slab only, no. Apply to all the slab in the story, apply to all slabs in the model. This is what I want to use, because all my slabs in the model are not in their correct types. So I will do this and I will click on OK. This is very important to always do in your model before you generate your design, because this affects your reinforcement. Okay, this is very important in placing your reinforcement. So if I click on this, if I double click on that panel to check again, good, you can see this is slab type 3, slab type 3. So if you check for any of this is also going to be slab type 3. This is also going to, for this one, this is going to be an internal panel. So it's continuous in all edges. Good. So it's correct. So this makes your work way more easier. For a very large project, it's difficult to really achieve that one by one. So we have been able to do that. I will come back to my building analysis. I just want this to be as very brief as possible. I want to assume that problem has been solved. I will just click on building analysis and then to analyze my model, because you cannot do a foundation design without analyzing, without doing a building analysis. Without building analysis, you can't actually, it's very important you check. If you check only the column, for example, it's going to design only the column, while the beams and every other member will not be designed. That's basically what it means. So, and this is a concrete column, this is a steel, these are for steel members. So if I uncheck this now, that means it's not going to design these composite members that I did, because composite means a combination of both concrete and steel, or any two different materials. You know, we can have a composite pavement, you know, when you are designing maybe for road design and whatever, you know, you can have composite. It's not just on building, right? So I will check that and I will click on building analysis. So let's just wait for it to analyze. All right, so the analysis is ready. I will just close this. Okay, so we are here. Let's come to our story 0. Let's see what we have. Good. You can see the only thing I'm seeing here is just this ones here. As for this ones, they are not showing down here. Okay, so all we need to do is just to select them, and before then, sorry, let's come to looking for this tool called supports. Right, so if you come to the modeling tab, you come here, you see support types. So this first one means is fixed, this is hinge, this is roller. So for fixed supports, it's restrained along the X direction, Y direction, Z direction. The rotation is also, all of them, everything is restrained. So I will click on OK. So I've added that. I can just highlight all my columns. Make sure you position your cursor very well. Position your model very well so that you can highlight. This is not what I want to do, please. So I can highlight this by holding on control. So I can go to the properties of these columns and come under the support. Click on this. It looks like a pencil. Okay, and select. Okay, I think the support has not been added. Sorry, let me close this and come to my modeling type of support. Sorry, I'm supposed to click on this plus sign to add it, so it has been added now. I will come to the properties of these columns and come to support, click on this pencil, click on this drop down, click on support and click on OK, and then I will click on close. So if you look at this very well, you realize this is showing you that we have a fixed support now on all of this. So you can see on the foundation layout, everything is being displayed. So we have everything showing here now. So all we will do now, we can design our footing. Okay, so for that we are going to continue in the next episode. I will take you through that process. I will see you in the next episode.